It seems when you have a gap up or a gap down, you have a situation where where you have multiple indicators or setups alerting you to the fact that something's happening. And this example is that same situation. There's numerous things going on. Some of them key for us in what and how we've learned to work the system. But we're going to be in XPO, and we are in April of 2015. And I am going to switch us over to the charts, and the vertical red lines indicate where we're at. And I'm going to probably well, basically I'll start with the zip chart up here, because that's that is key for what this gap up is all about. One of the important things that happen is that you have zip green at 0, and you'll often see zip green spike down to 0 and then turn around and reverse and come back up, and as it does in this case. But one of the things that occurs here in the zip chart is that you have the zip pink that has already gone up while the green is coming down. Your zip yellow and blue are both in low angle downs. Your zip red is in a BOC higher. In fact, it's what is it here? It is up to 36. It's gone up so high. And whenever the zip runs up real high, that's real indicative that the next day it's going to go up. We see that a lot. I mean, we usually don't see these gaps, and the reason we see these gaps is a combination of a number of things, and one of them being that we have a triple bottom here, and that's just from a candle pattern perspective, and that shows us that's all over the place. Depending on which chart you want to look at, you down here in the power chart, you got 3 red bottoms that show up, and you got 3 red bottoms that show up over here in the trend chart, and same with the swing Zion. You have 3 bottoms that show up here. But the amount of stuff that's going on here is amazing. You also, in the zip chart, you also have zip Zion in a low angle down. And we have in the power chart, I'm going to expand this a little bit, we have the power red in a low angle up, and as you know, that's a power angle up is much stronger than a power angle down, low angle power down. A low angle down is not as strong of an uptrend signal as a low angle up in the power red. Power yellow is the same way. We got a low angle up. If we expand this more, the power pink is a low angle up. The blue and white are low angle downs, and the zip is a BOC higher, and the BOCs higher are what keys us into is the primary key that keys us into the this alert that things are going to go up strong. I mean, we can't really tell from this alert that it's going to be gapping up the $7 that it did gap up, but we do know that it's going to be decent just from the amount of activity here, because you've got a BOC higher in the zip red, a BOC higher in the zip gray, you got a BOC higher in the Zion, power Zion, and if I look over here, I can see that there's a swing pink in a BOC higher, and so there's just a number of them that went off, or that would go off. And by the way, while we're on that, I do want to comment a little bit, just for your reference. The system that we have, unless you've been into the radar screen section, the radar screen is basically a section where it's a grid system. You can throw in your favorite 300 stocks and look at what they're doing versus in columns, in a column form or column format. And some call it the quote system. I still call it the radar screen. But in any case, we've got, in the radar screen, there's numerous indicators that we've pre-built that you can punch into the radar screen. You open up a radar screen and then you can just add these indicators. Well, one of the indicators, it's fairly large, but I thought it was necessary for us to have it, and it's basically if you take each one of these lines on the chart, and you know, the zip green, the zip red, and just there's 20 some of them. I don't know what there is, 26 or 8 or whatever. And you put those each in a column. Well, we have an alert that lights up one of the cells, like it'll light it up in the background color will be yellow or whatever, when a BOC occurs, or when a TOC occurs. So you can be looking at that, and then you can also take, with TradeStation's platform, you can also double click the top row of that column, and it'll pull all of your BOCs or your TOCs to the top. And so if you've got a radar screen open and the screen only shows the 25 of the column, or 25 rows out of 300 stocks that you got, you can double click it and anything that's there will come to the top instantly. And so you can just double click across those columns and see what you have. Once it pulls one of them up, if any of them also have a BOC, they will be lit up. And so like in this case right here, you find an alert on XPO that shows 5 BOCs. So you'd be looking at that screen and bingo, 5 BOCs would show up. And that's a real clear sign and an easy way to find your next deal. And in this case, if you would have found that one, you've got a $7 gap up. So there's a lot to this system. If you want to understand it more, just go to the radar screen section on the website here, and we'll explain it a lot more. But back to this chart here on the gap up that we have. I'll go over to the trend chart to kind of finish up here. The trend red shows us that we're in an upturn. Trend green is obviously down, and there is some relationship between the separation between the red and the green and the blue. Most of the time when we see a really significant difference, the differences between the green and the blue that causes a drastic upturn, but it does happen with the green and the red as well. But in any case, just for your reference, we're significantly, usually the green and the red are much closer to the blue. But and here again, if you look at, we've got 3 blue humps, which are basically indicative of the triple bottom that we are experiencing at this point. And normally a triple bottom, it just says, hey, I'm going up, and it just bangs its way up for 6, 8, 10 days. But in this case here, it really gapped way up right afterwards. So it's a combination of things. We've just got a tremendous number of low angles up or low angles down, along with BOCs higher, and of course, as I mentioned before, the BOCs higher are what was key, well, is how we found this, or how we would find this indicator if we had it, if we found it. You know, you're not gonna, like I say, you're not gonna find them all, but it sure is fun, isn't it? It's absolutely amazing.